Today's review is for The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, from 2013. The film is about the dwarves and Bilbo continuing their quest to the Lonely Mountain while Gandalf deals with the growing problem. So this is better than Unexpected Journey. It does a better job with transitioning from different characters. It's still a bit clunky here and there. It does not need to be 3 hours. So here are some spoilers. If Bolg has been there the entire time, why wasn't he the villain instead of Azog? I do want to point out that I do know that I mispronounced his name in Unexpected Journey. In the book and the movie, why didn't Gandalf just put a protective spell on the group before they went into Mirkwood so that in case they do wander off the path, they won't hallucinate? The Mirkwood scenes required nearly all color drained from the footage in order to make the forest appear sick. As a result, objects that needed to retain their color had to be painted in neon colors to be noticeable at all in the final movie. I love how disorienting Mirkwood is. The deal with Legolas being in the movie, I'm on the fence about it. Although in the Fellowship book, at the Council of Elrond, the way Glowing yells at Legolas about the treatment they endured in Mirkwood sounds like he was there. It happens when they're discussing Gollum escaping from Mirkwood, and in my version of the book, it's page 286 towards the bottom of the page. And he said, "You were no less tender to me," said Glowing with a flash of his eyes, as old memories were stirred up of his imprisonment in the deep places of the Elven King's halls. "Now, come," said Gandalf. "Do not interrupt my good Glowing. That was a regrettable misunderstanding, long set right." I mean, to me, that sounds like he was present. It works for me, and it could work without him either way. And it could work without him there, and they could mention him, that he's on a mission with the Rangers or something. I have no problem with Tauriel. I like her character. I don't like the love triangle. Hate love triangles. I know they originally weren't going to do that, but when it was decided to be a trilogy, the studio forced it into a love triangle, which makes no sense. There can be a relationship without it being a love triangle. She could have easily liked one or the other, or had a brother-sister relationship with the other. But Killy needs to learn better pickup lines than, "Aren't you going to search me? I could have anything down my trousers," with puppy eyes. That's not helpful, Killy. To prepare for the role of Tauriel, Evangeline Lilly underwent training for swordplay and archery, as well as studying the Elvish language. I love how Thranduil knows that Bilbo is there, but doesn't do anything about it. Does he know it's Bilbo, or is he just aware that somebody is there? Other lands include Rivendell, so shouldn't Thranduil be worried about the spider spreading? I would have liked to have seen the Elf Festival instead of seeing Legolas be pouty about Tauriel and Killy. I'm fine with the barrel scene. It adds tension instead of like a boring, uneventful ride down the river like the book, but it goes for way too long, and then it goes completely into left field with Bomber's barrel fight. I love Lake Town's design and the music. Was Alfred lying about friction in the town? Because I never saw anybody grumbling about their situation or say anything bad about the Master of Lake Town. I wish we could have seen Dale's destruction closer. I couldn't really see anything that far away. I do know there's a lead scene of them in Dale, which should have stayed in. From what I remember of the Arkenstone, it's mentioned during the meeting at Bilbo's house, so he should know what the Arkenstone is. And it would have been interesting if the dwarves had told Bilbo more about it and had him memorize it throughout the journey. What do dwarves and elves having its handrails is so nerve-wracking every time they walk across an elf or dwarf bridge? According to Benedict Cumberbatch, he ripped his vocal cords quite literally and had blood at the end of the day from tearing his throat to pieces in order to get Smaug's voice right. To me, once they get into Erebor, wouldn't it be a good idea for Bilbo to roll around in the dirt and then the dwarves stay away from him for a while? Because the main reason he's recruited was because Smaug didn't know what a hobbit was. But he smells the dwarves on him, so it's kind of moot. Having Thrain at Dol Guldur adds nothing to the story. We already have Azog and Sauron to worry about. Why are we adding a crazy dwarf to the mix? Although at the Council of Elrond in the book, Gandalf does mention finding Thrain there, but he was too late. To me, that sounds like he was already dead. I would have been okay with Gandalf finding Thrain's body at Dol Guldur. We didn't need the whole extra scene if they were just going to kill him off anyway. The hostility towards Bard feels forced. Like it was just thrown in there because it was the only way to keep Bard out of the house fight with the orcs. I love the kids throwing pots and pans at the orcs like that's going to do anything. The arrow reveal could have happened later instead of Bard being chased and thrown in jail. Usually when a hobbit is in a group, they get called out, like Elrond in Expected Journey or Beorn in this, but neither Bard, his children, or the people of Lake Town seem to notice Bilbo, even when he speaks up to vouch for Thorin. I have no problem with Ed Sheeran. I enjoy his songs, but he doesn't really fit in this world, if that makes sense. They should have gotten somebody else. I know in Battle of the Five Armies that Billy Boyd sings the credit songs, which totally fits. So what are your thoughts on this film? Let me know in the comments, like this video, share around, and subscribe to my channel.